So, if you're anything like me, you've probably seen a lot of excitement around these new AI powered app builders. They promise incredible speed, allowing you to create fully functional apps from just a sentence or two of plain English, and that's it. As someone who's been building apps for more than 4 years using no and low code tools, I instantly became curious. Is this the future of app building? I don't have a traditional coding background, no computer science degree, or formal training, but I've always been technically inclined and curious. Recently, though, something caught my attention. Amidst all the hype, I started noticing troubling stories online, apps getting hacked, exposed user data, wide open database endpoints. What's shocking is these stories weren't just the result of advanced cyber attacks. They were basic vulnerabilities left open by builders who trusted the AI too much. I'm definitely not a hacker, far from it, and that's exactly why I'm concerned. If someone like me, without any specialized cybersecurity skills, can exploit these weaknesses, what can a skilled attacker do? Lovable is one of several vibe coding tools designed to build apps quickly and intuitively. You simply describe what you want, and the AI generates everything from user interfaces to backend database integrations and more. This incredible efficiency has sparked a whole movement, bringing app building capabilities to countless people who previously wouldn't have had access. People love these tools, and for good reason. They make app development accessible, affordable, and unbelievably fast. Twitter, YouTube, and tech forums are full of success stories. I built a startup in one day, launched a SaaS overnight. These stories inspire us, highlighting what's possible when creativity isn't slowed down by technical barriers. But beneath this exciting surface lies a critical blind spot: security. Dig a little deeper, and you'll quickly find another narrative emerging. Online forums, Reddit threads, and developer groups frequently discussing troubling incidents, open databases, exposed authentication endpoints, and even API keys visible publicly. These are elementary oversights, yet they're common. Why? Because in the excitement of rapid development, security is often treated as an afterthought, something that can always be fixed later. This raises significant concern as apps built using these tools become more popular. How much personal, financial, or even sensitive data is at risk? And if the vulnerabilities are so obvious that even a non hacker could spot them, the problem may be bigger than we think. There are many basic common vulnerabilities you should always look out for, no matter who you are. More on that later. So, here's the plan. We need to find out for ourselves how real this issue is. In order to do that, I decided to run a practical experiment. Clearly, it would be unethical and illegal to test these theories on somebody else's app. So instead, what we'll do is we will build our own app using Lovable, intentionally follow the standard process without any extra security considerations, and then we'll try to hack it. Here's the experiment outline we'll follow. Number one, build a basic app with Lovable using Superbase for the backend. Number two, run a penetration test using OWASP Zap, so a standard security scanner available for free to anyone online. Number three, see what we can find. Building an app with Lovable is incredibly straightforward. You type a brief prompt and the AI gets to work generating everything, from the user interface down to the backend database architecture. For this first prototype, I used Superbase, simply because it's the easiest setup. Within minutes, I had a basic notes app up and running. This version of the app doesn't have authentication, and there's no sensitive data being stored, just simple notes. But even with that limited setup, I wanted to see what kinds of vulnerabilities Zap might detect. Using OWASP Zap, which again is a free and more importantly beginner friendly security testing tool, I started the initial scan. I chose Zap specifically because it's incredibly easy to download, requires no prior technical knowledge, and can be used effectively by anyone. I guess now would be a good time to pause and talk about what common vulnerabilities could look like. Let's unblur that list from earlier. These are some of the most common vulnerabilities found in apps built with AI and no code tools, or really any apps for that matter. First, insecure database rules. Many apps leave their databases open to public reads and writes. This happens because builders often assume default settings provided by the AI tools are secure enough. Second, improper authentication. Authentication logic can be mistakenly configured or entirely overlooked. This means anyone might bypass login screens, gaining unauthorized access to sensitive or user information. 3. Exposed API keys. API keys can unintentionally be embedded directly in the client side code or publicly accessible resources. This allows attackers easy access to potential critical backend services. 4. Lack of input validation. Without proper validation, attackers can inject malicious data or scripts, compromising data integrity and user security. And the list goes on. Now that we know what to look out for, let's revisit the results of our initial attack. Even this bare bones app had several red flags. Zap identified missing content security policy headers, cross domain misconfigurations, a hidden file exposed on the public servers, and no protection against clickjacking. That's four distinct categories of vulnerabilities. That was without a single user account and no sensitive data. Now, to be clear, none of these are catastrophic, at least not yet. Currently, we do not really have anything sensitive. There's no login system, no user emails, and no addresses. That's exactly why the next phase of the test is so important to see what happens when we do start storing real personal data. The next step is to raise the stakes. I'm going to add email authentication to the app and expand the database to include personal information like phone numbers and physical addresses. Once that's all in place, I'll rerun the Zap and see how much more exposed the app becomes. So, to begin the next phase, I added email authentication to the app. For simplicity and speed, I disabled email verification, something I wouldn't recommend for a production app, but honestly, it's the kind of shortcut a novice might take because it's easier to implement. In addition to email, I expanded the sign up form to include phone number, physical address, and even social security number, an intentionally extreme test case. These fields represent the kind of sensitive data that many real world apps end up collecting. I also asked Lovable to make each user's notes private, meaning they should only be accessible to the person who created them. On the surface, everything seemed to be working correctly. But when I signed up with a second account, I realized something important. The privacy controls hadn't actually been enforced. The second user could see notes created by the first account. So the app looked secure, but in reality, the data was still publicly accessible within the user base. This kind of misconfiguration is exactly what makes these tools so risky. It's not that they don't offer security, it's that they can give a false sense of security if you're not checking under the hood. After making those changes, I ran a second Zap scan to see if any new vulnerabilities had appeared. The results revealed a lot of the same, as well as some new and deeper issues. Going down the list, CSP headers are still not set. This continued absence leaves the app exposed to potential XSS attacks. Cross domain misconfigurations were expanded, so the Zap detected more endpoints, including third party scripts that could introduce risks through loosely controlled origins. The hidden file was still exposed. The same unprotected file from the earlier test remained accessible. Anti clickjacking header is also still missing. This leaves the app vulnerable to clickjacking exploits. Now, for the new warnings, additional flags now included cross domain JavaScript source file inclusion, missing strict transport security header, and missing cross content type options header. While these may not be catastrophic exploits on their own, the risk context has changed. We've now got private data in the database, email addresses, phone numbers, and even social security numbers. And the surface area for potential attacks has expanded. These results paint a very real picture. If you don't know how to lock down these vulnerabilities, and if your AI tool doesn't warn you about them, your app could be dangerously open without you even realizing it. So, what did we learn? Building with AI tools like Lovable can feel magical, and in many ways, it is. But speed, without understanding, comes with real risks, especially when you start collecting personal data. Even small misconfigurations can lead to major problems. The takeaway isn't don't use Lovable, it's don't assume Lovable or any tool is secure by default. You still need to check your rules, validate access, and run your own tests. If you enjoyed this kind of content, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear any stories you've encountered, whether you've been burned by a misconfigured app or caught a vulnerability before it got out of hand. And if you want to see me actually try to break into the database next, let me know because we've laid the groundwork. The next step could get a lot more real. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.